Hello there. Hope you are all having a wonderful day today. I briefly covered this in my last live stream, but I thought it might make a useful video for those who didn't see that. As many of you know, we started playing Castles and Crusades to replace D&D a few months ago. One of the features of Castles and Crusades is variable initiative each combat round. That means you roll your place in the initiative order every single combat round. Now, for anyone who started playing D&D with 3rd edition, this may seem like a foreign concept, but this is actually how combat used to run before 3rd edition. Now, at the time when 3rd edition came out, it seemed that the introduction of static initiative for the entire combat encounter was a minor improvement. You kind of roll once, the order is more or less set. It certainly saved a little bit of time and simplified things a bit. But in a way, it also made combat a little bit more predictable, maybe even a tad stale. I know things like legendary actions in 5th edition introduced some variability, at least as far as inserting villain attacks and actions out of their normal turn order. But that's obviously just for big boss monsters and doesn't happen all the time. Normally, you can kind of comfortably know when your turn was coming and when your adversary's turn was coming. You could almost, I dare say, plan your combat a little around it. And I don't think that's the way it should be. And as the years have gone by, I'm starting to look for ways to shake things up a little bit. And it's been well over 20 years since 3rd edition came out. And believe it or not, static initiative has actually been the norm for longer than variable initiative was at the dawn of 3rd edition. Castles and Crusades gave us that perfect opportunity to implement the old system of rolling initiative every combat round. It's part of those rules. And at first we actually were like, oh, well, we don't have to do that. We can just keep going. And then in our last combat, in the Watchtower episode of our live play, I think I just kind of said, hey, why don't we roll initiative every round? They said fine, and it ended up working to their benefit. They ended up having essentially a double turn where they, I think, went last in one combat round and then first in the next. So it served them well. And I just reminded them that that's not always going to be the case. Sometimes your opponent is going to get that opportunity, and they didn't seem to mind. So kind of justified, I think, switching things up and going back to the old system. And I think we're excited to keep doing that. I gotta say, it really does seem to spice things up a bit. Rolling initiative every round adds the potential, perhaps the certainty, of either the players or the adversaries getting that stretch of 2 turns in a row. As I said, going last in one round and then first in the next. This is something that can help save, or perhaps even doom, a combat. It gives the players something else to worry about. It makes combat that much more deadly just by being unpredictable. It also adds an important dice roll each combat round. Whenever players are making meaningful dice rolls, I always think it helps their investment in the game. Now, one undeniable drawback of variable initiative each combat round is keeping track of it. If you don't have an efficient method of tracking it, it can bog down combat to a degree. I know there's lots of methods out there, and feel free to use the method that works best for you. We used a single whiteboard with magnetic trackers for each player and the villains before, but again, remember that was only, once per combat. We would do it, and it was pretty much set unless somebody, deferred their order or new opponents came in. And I would just have one of my players, actually Gavin, would always man that at the beginning. Everybody else at the table would shout their scores, and he'd have to ask, "What'd you say again? Huh?" It's pretty chaotic, and that was just doing it once per combat. So it could be a little confusing even then. I can only imagine what it would be like every round. So I'm always looking for ways to improve the tabletop experience. And I recently came up with this idea for tracking initiative. I found these mini chalkboard table tents on Amazon. And they also come with a set of chalkboard markers too, which is a nice bonus. And I just had the idea of giving each player 3 of these because they come 20 to a pack. And I even divided one side of the marker in half. And I think you can see where this is going. Each player is going to have their own markers, and they'll roll initiative, and they'll simply write it on the table tent and just set it in front of them. The next turn, they'll cross that out, write another one. Next turn, they'll just turn it around to the other side, write it again. Next turn, they'll just set that one aside, get the new one. But now the DM and everybody at the table can see who's going when. And because each player, as I said, has 3 of these, we can go 9 combat rounds before they even have to erase anything. Now, we've not tried these little chalkboard placards at the table yet, but we will probably be doing so in our next session. The players are headed into trouble, and they well know it. And you can see those on this channel, by the way. I'm starting to do live plays of our Birthright sessions. So check them out if you're interested. We have a lot of fun. It's just old school gaming around a table with, like I said, a group of longtime friends. I have a feeling that these might work out, but we'll see. At any rate, it'll probably be better than hearing a table of 6 people shout out their scores all at once for somebody to hurriedly arrange on a whiteboard and then asking everybody to repeat it again, because obviously you can't keep track of everybody who's yelling it out. So I hope this will smooth things out, maybe make it go a little quicker, a little smoother. I'll let you guys know how it works out. Or as I said, you can see for yourself in the live plays. And as always, let me know what you guys think. I try to read every comment, even if I can't respond to everyone. That's why you'll find my like on a lot of comments. It shows that at the very least I read it. Do you still do 1 initiative roll per combat? Or do you do a roll every round? If you're doing the former, have you found combat getting a little bit stale lately? I don't know, maybe try to mix it up. Do it this way. Roll every round. You can always go back if it's not for you. And what do you guys think of my technical solution? Do you guys have a better one? Again, let me know. And if anyone is interested, I'll leave a link to these little chalkboard table tents in the description below. I don't get a cutback or anything. I just found them on Amazon, and I don't know. I'm always on the lookout for stuff that'll improve the play experience, shall we say. Well, that's all for today. You guys have a great rest of the day, and we will talk very, very soon, I promise. Goodbye.
What qualifies you to be a U.S. Senator? You have 60 seconds.
Hi, good night, everybody.
Hey there, it's your boy Double D, and I want to tell you about a great offer from our friends over at Neckbeardia. That's right. We all love James and Megan, and I am happy to say they love us too. That's why they are offering a 10% discount on everything in their store just for my audience. If you haven't done so already, check it out at the link in the description below. They work with a fantastic 3D artist to offer you miniatures with detail you have to see to believe. No need to print anything out. They will take care of that messy and smelly business on their end. All you need to do is pick out your next character or the next group of monsters your party is going to fight. They also have some pretty hilarious subclasses for you guys that are still playing 5th edition, all for less than a cup of coffee. They have adventures, Atomic Punk 2160 by the Basic Expert, t-shirts, and a lot more. Why not support people that don't hate you? Use the promo code DND10 for 10% off your order. And remember that shipping is free for orders over 50 pounds. That's just a little bit over $60 US. Visit them today and don't forget to use the promo code DND10.